Hello YouTube, in this tutorial we're gonna talk about null pointers. Now let's use this example from last tutorial to explain a couple of things. This is very clear thing. We do know what is name of variable, we do have starting value, ending value, middle values, we do know operations and with what we are operating. We do have pointer and we do know exactly where that pointer points to. So we do have address and actual values. But this thing is also possible. Like integer, some pointer, and that's it. So now if you run this stuff, your program will, guess what, work. So of course, if you have pointer and there is no compiling errors, that means that you have address like physical one. Well, yeah, because we are pointing to somewhere random in a PC in this moment of time. So cout some pointer and line, and now we will get actual physical address. And let's run this stuff. There you go. Now the weird thing is that not just that you have address, but you also have a value. Now check this out. Cout, how to grab value using pointers? Well, star and name of pointer. And let's have a custom string here, like actual value, which is basically garbage. Like a leftover from some operation. You don't know what's happening in your PC. There is no way to know what is happening in every second there, millisecond, whatever. But you do still have garbage in your memory and somewhere in your PC in general. So if you run this stuff, you will get some relatively for you random number. Now the problem is, if for some reason one day you write this stuff and you forget to assign actual container here. So if you continue working with your stuff and if you're messing with mathematical stuff, engineering, serious applications, financial stuff, if your program gets to like 5,000 lines of code and still you have this error, and you're doing something serious, as I said, then you can start creating all kind of errors and havoc and mess and produce weird results at the end of the day. So how to solve this? How to minimize the possibility of errors? Well, at the minimum you can use null here. Now when you use null here, then what's gonna happen is this. You are limiting possibilities. So why this thing and where this thing is useful, if you don't say null here, if you don't limit this pointer, well, if you're using that value, for example, in some pseudo random, I don't know, encryption, don't use this in serious encryption, it can be security risk, but let's just say that you're trying to create your own encryption program, algorithm, or you are putting players randomly on a screen when you're creating games, or you're doing some kind of relatively random stuff. So maybe you can use the value in that specific address, or you can even combine that address with value to produce something else and then improve that thing to like be more, I don't know, safe. You can multiply like this integer with actual time in the moment, something like that. But overall, try to not use this stuff, because not just in C++, but also in many other languages, you have dedicated modules and functions and ways of doing things. So this is just for your reference. You can use it if you like it, but my advice is just don't use this approach. Think about some other approaches, like try to avoid stating like pointers that doesn't have real usage, that they are not accurate. And also, if you're trying to correct behavior or that with a null option, then again try to think about your approach. Maybe there is something better to think about. Now over time you will probably, if you stick with the C++, learn where this thing is useful, but for me right now I just don't use it. I just skip this whole thing. So why do I have this tutorial? Because it is, in essence, you need to know this basic C++ stuff. So if you run into other people code into this, then at least you know what we are talking about. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I don't want to continue with null pointers anymore because, well, at least me personally, I'm trying to totally skip this thing at all when I am doing any kind of programming. So limit yourself in a good way and try to produce correct approaches for your needs. Right, I'm gonna shut up in this tutorial. It is just enough for you right now to know that these things exist. So thank you for watching and see you next tutorial.